You guys, what's up? So today we're going to talk about how to drop weight fast and do it in a realistic way that is going to get you results today and that's going to last you forever. I am going to discuss the top 5 things that you can do right now to get that needle moving. If you're not familiar with who I am, I'm Juls and I've lost 50 pounds. I've done it using the right nutrition, the right fitness program, and using a GLP-1. And I'm gonna walk you through 5 strategies that you could take home today and actually use to get results. I've used them. I'm gonna talk about the challenges. I'm going to talk about the actual real results. Let's get started. Okay, if you are on a weight loss journey and you're feeling stuck and don't know what to do, or you're not losing weight fast enough for where you think you should be, the first strategy that I would try is carb cycling. What that means is that on certain days, you're going to go from low starchy carbs to other days, you're going to have medium, and then you're gonna have a high starchy carb. So when I implemented this, it worked really nicely, and I'll still do it now during maintenance as well to make sure that if I see my weight starting to creep up, I'll do this. So what that means is in an entire week, I will take 2-3 days of really low starchy carbs. That means I'm probably keeping my carbs under 50 to 75 grams a day, which means that's barely any starchy carbs like bread, pasta, rice, oatmeal. I'm mostly eating protein along with the fats that it comes with and vegetables, and maybe a little, like half a cup of rice, maybe. So that's about 2 to 3 days. Then another 2 to 3 days, you're gonna move it up to medium. So now you're looking at maybe 100 grams of starchy carbs. And then 1 or 2 days only during the week, you're gonna put in a higher starchy carb day, and that could really get the needle moving on the scale, because now you're shocking your body into, oh wow, this is something different. So it's called carb cycling. And what this does is it keeps your metabolism guessing. So you're never going to be eating the same thing for an entire week. So you're looking at 2-3 days low, 2-3 days medium, and 1 to 2 days at the higher. This will preserve your muscle because you're gonna still hit your protein every single day, but you're just going to flux the carbohydrates. The cons to doing this are you really have to plan. So you have to plan what you're going to be eating the entire week for that low, medium, and high. And when you do the 1 to 2 days of high carbohydrate, this does not mean you're going out on an all-out binge, you're going crazy with junk food or processed food. It's still a planned day with the same foods that you're eating, you're just getting in more of the starchy carbs. Okay, the next tool that I have used very successfully is intermittent fasting, or time-restricted eating. And the typical way to do this for most people to start would be a 16-8 window, meaning 16 hours of the day you are not eating anything, but 8 hours of the day is when you are eating. That is your window to eat. And during that window, my suggestion would be to have 2 meals, maybe a snack or a smaller meal if needed, but really try to keep it to the 2. And this has worked really well. These all work if you're on a GLP-1, even better when you're on a GLP-1, because the GLP-1 really kind of tamps down on the craving and your appetite. Again, it's what you're eating in that window that is going to be very important. So you have to focus on the protein. If people say, oh, I have a hard time getting in my protein, I can't hit my target, that's only because you're not prioritizing it. You're eating carbs, you're eating something different than the protein, because you can get your protein in. Again, the protein target is 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So if you are targeting a body weight of 130 pounds, 130 grams of protein is your target. That's not necessarily super easy to get if your window is 8 hours or you're eating only 1 meal a day. 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, you'll definitely get that in. So you need to really, though, get in 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal. So if that's a protein shake or a bar along with your chicken or salmon or eggs, cottage cheese, whatever it is, you have to plan ahead though, and you have to really write these things down, write your plan down, write what you're gonna eat down, so that is your priority. And during that intermittent fast, it really will help to get the scale moving and get that body fat loss. Okay, number 3, no junk food. I know there's the people out there that are, moderation this, moderation that. I'm not a moderation person. I'm just not. It's never worked for me. When I've tried moderation, it's gone sideways, and I'll talk about that later. But if you really are stuck and you really are looking to lose weight and get healthy and get to your optimal health and ideal body, and you're frustrated, then yeah, you got to give up the junk food. That means no more processed food, no more added sugar. It's got to come from whole foods. You have to plan. You can't just be out and spontaneously, I'm hungry, what do I eat? I'm going to stop for fast food. It's not going to work. The whole, I'll get McDonald's, but I'll just eat a smaller portion. It's not the healthiest thing for you. So you really want to focus on your health, your nutrition, what you're eating, planning ahead, and making sure that you're really getting in those whole foods, prioritizing the protein. No more French fries. I'm not saying never, but if you're in your weight loss journey, in your weight loss phase, and you're stuck and you don't know what to do, then yeah, the French fries gotta go. Sorry, but that's just the way it's gonna have to be. When I was losing weight, I definitely was more restrictive during that time. And now that I'm in maintenance, I've relaxed a little bit. But here's the thing, even in maintenance, my maintenance is basically my weight loss, but with more calories. Now, when I say I've relaxed, yeah, will I eat a couple French fries here and there? I will. But here's the thing, I have noticed there are times when my weight has started to creep up. And then I have to go back and go, well, all right, what was I eating? What was I doing? What, is my activity level up? My activity level is pretty good. It really comes down to the food. If I'm going to be honest, I have increased my starchy carbs. That's where things start to kind of go sideways a little bit. The good part is I can catch it pretty early. So if I see a weight gain over the course of a week or two, and it's been consistently 2-3 pounds higher, well, then I know I need to do something before it becomes even more. So if you're in your weight loss journey and you're really looking for the scale to go down, then yeah, no more junk food, no more processed food. Really focus and plan on the good stuff. This is the cold, hard truth to losing weight. If you're gonna continue to eat processed food, you're gonna continue to have the junk, you're gonna continue to have fast food, even if you're on a GLP-1, that's really like making your appetite smaller. At the end of the day, it's not healthy for you. It's not the best plan. But again, it's all about your choices. So on the one hand, if you're going, you're upset or you're complaining or you're like, the scale's not moving. But on the other side, you're not willing to give up the junk food or the alcohol or the sugar. That's your choice, but know that there are going to be consequences for it. Okay, number 4 on what to do in terms of getting that fast fat loss. You want to see results, you want to see the scale go down, you want to feel good that what you're doing is working, go keto. Yes, it works. The reason why it doesn't work, or the reason why people are not successful on keto, is it becomes too restrictive for them. You're eating less than maybe, I think, 25 carbohydrates a day, it's very difficult, but you're going to see a lot of weight loss. You're going to also see a lot of fluid loss as well. So that could be a psychological boost on the scale when you see that happening. But if you do keto, which is focusing predominantly now on protein and fats and keeping some vegetables in there, which means really no starchy carbs. There's no breads, pastas, rice, oatmeal, that's out the door, and you're gonna have some vegetables because they still count and they are still calories. You're gonna minimize the fruits as well, because you could overdo it on the fruit if you're having too much. So really minimal fruits. During my weight loss, I barely had any fruit whatsoever because I was really trying to minimize my carbohydrates and maximize my protein for that muscle retention and strength building. Want to do, keto is definitely something that will get you results. Now, if you want to cycle keto, that's another way of doing it as well. And you can do keto for a week and then, increase your carbohydrates a little bit for the next week and kind of fluctuate back and forth. So it doesn't mean you have to stay keto forever, but it's a tool in the toolbox. And you can combine some of these too. You can combine the intermittent fasting along with the keto and do that for a few weeks or a month. And you can kind of go in and out of some of these phases and play around with it and see how your body responds. Because some people are really sensitive to starchy carbohydrates and other people are miserable without them. So you're gonna probably wanna track what you're eating to see how it makes you feel. I know for me, I love carbohydrates, but they don't really love me back. So if I overdo it on the carbs, I feel kind of bloated. I just don't feel that good. I feel a little bit more tired and fatigued, and it also makes the scale go up. So I'm kind of sensitive to that. And then as soon as I drop my starchy carbs and I get them really low for the day, like even a day or two, the next day, the scale goes down. I feel lighter. When I step on the scale, like I know it's gonna weigh less because I feel it. And I'm really sensitive to how my body feels now. And conversely, when I have too many carbs, I also know, hey, when I step on the scale, it's gonna say more because I know how it makes me feel and I'm just feeling kind of bleh. So that is another way to go. Okay, number 5, accountability. Get an accountability partner. This person will hold you accountable for the things you're saying and doing. So that could be a friend, it could be a spouse, or it could be someone in a Facebook group or somebody on YouTube, or hey, you want to message me on Instagram or whatever, and every month you want to check in with me and I will reply back to you. I'll be your accountability partner to say, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing well? What are you not doing? Have you looked at your data? Are you where you want to be? Are you happy? What can we, what can we do with that? So you want to shoot me a message, I will reply back to you and hold you accountable for the things that you want to do. But that alone can really help you to lose weight, is having someone holding you accountable. Now I want to talk a little bit about intuitive eating, because people talk about, oh, you should be eating intuitively. You don't have to track, and you should just be able to eat kind of whatever you want and whatever you feel like wanting and what your body's craving and naturally, because that's what people do. That's not what people do. It's rare that people eat intuitively. You are a rare genetic being if you can go out there and eat intuitively with whatever, hits your fancy and stay lean. My husband happens to be one of those rare genetic anomalies. He's tall, he's lean, he doesn't have to really do much. He does eat healthy, but he doesn't think about it. That's so rare. It's probably the top 10% of our population that can eat like that. I can't. I don't think that I will ever be able to eat intuitively. I once went to a registered dietitian who advised me to eat intuitively, and I tried, and guess what? I gained weight because my intuition was like, have pizza. Ooh, you want some chocolate chip cookies and cupcakes? Well, I mean, I'm eating intuitively, so I guess I should kind of go with how I feel. Needless to say, it did not work out at all. I ended up gaining weight, and there is no intuition. I don't know what that even means, and I think it's okay. The GLP-1 helps me to keep that food noise down, the cravings down. My appetite isn't crazy, but I still have an appetite. I absolutely still get hungry, and it's within that hunger, the choices that I make, I feel more in control of those choices, and then I actually get full. Whereas before, I just didn't have an off switch. I would get hungry, I would eat, and then I'd still be hungry, but I would just kind of push myself away from the table and walk away because I knew that I had enough, but I never really felt full or satiated, but now I do. So now I feel like I can make those healthy choices and feel good about that, but I have to plan everything out. It has to get planned out. I need a plan. I need to know what I'm eating. And that helps me to feel more in control of my day, of my body. I'll give you another example. If I know that I'm going to be going out to a restaurant, or I'm meeting my kids, or my husband and I are going out, or meeting friends, or whatever, I always look at the restaurant menu ahead of time so that I know what I'm going to get. And it's not going to be some spontaneous thing that I'm craving, and then all of a sudden I'm going to have like fried calamari or something, and then I'm going to regret it because I was just in the mood in that very moment. So no, I'm going to plan it out. And hey, if I'm going out for Thai food, and then I'm going to plan out exactly what I'm going to have with that Thai food. And what I usually do is I'll have something, but I'll still keep the starchy carbs on the lower side so that I don't feel bad the next day. And because I always think about, how does the food make me feel? And if something's not going to make me feel good, then I really try to avoid that. So it's not about, well, is this food going to make me gain weight? But it's how I'm going to feel when I'm on it. Okay, so let's say you're on your GLP-1 and you're just not seeing the results. And you're like, I'm on a GLP-1 and I'm not getting any weight loss, or it's so minimal, or the scale will go down 1 week, but then it goes back up the next week. And I've seen all of these questions coming in. And it's usually one of these three things. One, you either need to titrate up in your dose because you're just super hungry and food noise is coming back. And if you're low in your dose, then consider that as an option. The other ones are, you're not in a calorie deficit. You're eating too much. You're not tracking your food. This whole, I don't want to track my food, or it's triggering, or whatever. If you don't have a data point, you have nothing to look to. And if you're looking at this and going, well, I don't know what to do, I don't know how much I'm eating, but I'm not losing weight, well, you need to try and disengage your feelings from getting triggered on tracking. I used to track back in the day, a long time ago, and the last thing I wanted to do was track again. So I understand that. But I also understood, I got to a point where I got stuck. And I said, well, now what? Well, I don't really know exactly how much I'm eating. I'm eating healthy, I'm eating clean, but how much? You could eat really well and eat really clean, but still be eating too much. And that's what I did. That was my mistake that I was making. In order to fix it, I needed to start tracking. And these days, it's so easy to track. It is not like pencil and paper. It's not arduous. It's so easy. You could pay for an app, you can get a free app. I like using MyFitnessPal, but there's plenty of them out there. And if you're like me and you kind of eat meals on repeat, then it's even easier because you're just basically swiping the meal from one day to the next. You just swipe, that's it. That's how you track. So my meals are repeat for the most part. I might swap out a protein here and there, but everything is really super easy. So there's really no excuses not to track. And it is a data point that you can look back on to say, ooh, yeah, I wasn't really in a calorie deficit, or I'm kind of overdoing it on salad dressing or cheese or something really dumb that you don't even need to be eating. Peanut butter, that's a huge culprit. I love peanut butter, but I realized I loved it too much. And if I wanted peanut butter, 1 tablespoon just wasn't going to do it for me. And 1 tablespoon, what is that, like 100 calories? I haven't had it in a really long time. I don't know if it's 100 or 200 calories, but whatever it was, I wanted double the amount. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to have it. It's just not worth it. Maybe every once in a while I'll have it, but I usually want more than what I should have. So that's why I kind of avoid it now. So it's so easy to overdo the calories. So if you're not losing, look at your calories. You need to be in a deficit. And I'm generally recommending a 500 calorie deficit, which will give you at least 1 pound a week loss on the scale. Number 2 would be you're not hitting your protein. That is so important for muscle preservation. Hit your protein. I don't want to hear people that don't hit their protein. If your appetite is so crushed with a GLP-1 that you can't eat, then your dose is too high. Talk to your healthcare practitioner. You need to hit your protein. It is so important so that you're maintaining your skin health and your hair and your energy levels. So, and make sure that you're prioritizing that. So if you're eating too many carbohydrates and you can't hit your protein because now you're full from the carbohydrates, that could be another reason why you're not losing. And then the third reason, you're still drinking alcohol. Guys, come on, no more alcohol. I get it. I used to drink also. And about 2 months into my GLP-1 journey, I realized it was not helping me and it was a detriment and it really wasn't serving me. And I really wanted to lose weight and I wanted to feel good too. I also realized that, you know, I didn't like waking up and just feeling that hungover, fatigued feeling. And I have not had any alcohol since 2022. And I'm really proud of that. And if you're post 40, it's even more important. But if you're on a weight loss journey, no more alcohol. There is no room for alcohol in your diet. If you want to get to optimal health and you want to build muscle and you want to lose weight, alcohol has 7 calories a gram. There's nothing nutritious about alcohol. They're empty. They don't satisfy. And in fact, when it lowers your inhibitions, you're just like, screw it. I'll have the fries. I'll have the chips. You're going to be more apt to eat the stuff that is not going to be healthy for you. And it can also really upset your GI tract, especially if you're on a GLP-1. And also, your body is going to prioritize metabolizing alcohol before anything else, before weight loss. So if you're drinking, it's going to metabolize. It wants to get the alcohol out of your system. And then maybe it'll go to the fat loss. So if you're not having fat loss and you're still drinking, that is probably one of the biggest culprits to that. And I know that's not what people want to hear, but I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you the truth and the facts. Try getting rid of the alcohol. I'm not saying it has to be forever. You can have it every once in a blue moon. In my opinion, I think 2-3 times a year on special occasions, totally fine once you've reached your goal. But, you know, every week, post 40, it's just not going to work. It's a toxin. I mean, I'm sorry, but there is nothing beneficial about drinking alcohol. They're coming out with even more studies about cognitive health. And it's just say goodbye to it, guys. Come on. All right. So here are my final thoughts on this. This journey is not about, okay, what can we do for 30 days and like grind and then go back to doing whatever it is we were doing. It's a lifestyle. It is a long-term, forever journey. Part 1 is the weight loss phase. Part 2 is the maintaining. And that's the harder part. That's where I'm at right now. And it's hard. And I'm still trying to figure it out. And I'm still experimenting with things. I know how to do the weight loss part. It's the maintaining part. That's the part that's a little bit elusive I think for most of us. So we really need to dial in on what lifestyle habits and behaviors are going to work for us long term. And yes, some of the things that we're gonna do in the weight loss phase, you don't have to keep all of it. Like you can do keto here and there and not necessarily do it forever. It doesn't mean it has to be forever. I tried doing carnivore and I did it for 6 months and it wasn't working for me. It was having actually negative health outcomes for me, but I learned a lot from it. And I took some of those lessons and I took some of the habits and behaviors that I learned during carnivore and I kind of integrated that into what I do now. So I look at everything as something to learn from, something to grow. And it actually really helped me to prioritize protein and the good fats while still watching my calories. But I really do, I like having vegetables in, and I also know how I feel on the starchy carbs. And when I get to a point where it's too much and how that makes me feel. So I think it's all a growth process. It's about sleeping well. It's looking at your stress levels. It's making sure you're prioritizing protein before anything else and then incorporating everything else after that. It's about tracking. It's about planning. Yeah, you have to plan, because if you're not going to plan to succeed and plan your foods and plan things out, it's going to be hard to be successful if you're just being whimsical. And again, going back to that, intuition eating, don't think you're a failure because you can't eat intuitively. Most of us can't. 90% of us can't eat intuitively. And I'm not going to fool myself into thinking that, because again, been there, done that, and gained weight from it. So I'm not looking to try that again. The people, again, that can eat intuitively, they've been doing that their whole lives and they've never had a weight issue before. So great for them, but that's just not me. It's never going to be me. So keep in mind, if you're on a GLP-1, it's a tool to pair with everything else. And it helps you to do the everything else so much better, so much easier. And you're going to see the success, but you can't just use the GLP-1 and then hope for the best that everything else is going to be there. Especially as you get closer to your goal weight, you really got to dial it in. You got to really, do more walking, get more steps in, really make sure you're diligent with the tracking. Because if you really want to get lean and you want to build muscle, then you have to really pay attention to everything that you're doing. And the GLP-1 makes it easier to do that. If this video helped you, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to know when the next video is coming, and leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. If it resonated with you, what works, what doesn't work for you. And I hope to see you in my next video. Stay strong.